let's get into this. So I'm over here on the internet doing internet things, and I come across an article about the Undertaker fired up over Muhammad Ali WWE Hall of Fame backlash. The dead man has a few choice words for people unhappy with it, and I got a few choice words too. That's why you're here. Get ready, get those fingers heated up to hit them comments, folks. So anyway, I went on over. Usually when I see articles, I like to click and go straight to the source. That's what I like to do. So the source is 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway, and I don't know who this guy is that he's talking to because I don't listen to Mark Calloway's podcast. I don't really too much care for the Undertaker. Like, if I'm in the arena and we did get to see him come through, like, it's exciting. The gong goes off and all of that. But I've never was one to be like, ooh, the Undertaker, I love him. No. So, he's a legend in his own right. Cool. Whoop de whoop de whoop. So he goes on to talk about his Hall of Fame experience, and we're going to listen to him talk about it, and then I'll be back to talk. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. I'm going to have some thoughts while we listen to this.
That wasn't tickled. But
yeah, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up.
It rubbed both of us wrong.
It did. So I got a little heat from part of the veteran community. For people that don't know, like Muhammad Ali, I don't know who wouldn't know this, but Muhammad Ali refused to go into the army or the service. What I don't remember.
He didn't want to go to Vietnam.
He didn't want to go to Vietnam. He didn't see why that he was going to go 6,000 miles away from home to fight somebody that had no, and he didn't do it, and he ended up losing everything.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like for a large part of my life, like I resented Ali over that.
Yeah.
The thing, when you look at everything that Muhammad did, not even the athletic end of it, not even the boxing side of it, but the things that he did as a humanitarian and everything, I don't agree. I still don't agree with not going. Your country asks you to go do something. Your country. I mean, you could do it, and I mean that's how I am, and I wouldn't. But when you think about the conviction that he must have had in the beliefs, there's such a strong belief in what he thought was right and what he thought wasn't. He gave up everything.
And there's not a lot of people that would be willing to give up everything for their belief, for whatever they believe in, right? Yeah. And that shows a lot about him. I may not agree with what he believed in, and I may not agree with that.
Yeah.
But I have to commend him on being willing to sacrifice everything for his belief.
Yeah.
And what what he thought was the right thing.
Right.
And
what in the fuck are these two white males in the United States of America talking about? Am I in the Twilight fucking zone? I was born in 1981. I think the Undertaker is a more of a young boomer. I think he was born in the 60s, if I'm correct. I'm super confused as to what convictions they think he was all in about. Does anybody understand what was going on during the 1960s and 70s and what black people were dealing with? And I'm so floored right now. I still don't think, he should have not done what his country told him to do. Vietnam is always going to be a conversation for a lot of people to feel some kind of way. My advisor in high school was a Vietnam vet, and big giant white dude with a big giant beard, and he always said it was unnecessary, and going over to Vietnam did something to him. Now, as a black person who's being drafted, I want y'all to really put yourself in another person's shoes. And this is why this shit annoys me. For them to sit here and say, I respect his convictions, but, you just have to sit that to the side and you have to do what your country says. Muhammad Ali was being called a nigger everywhere he went. Muhammad Ali could not go into the front door like a majority of black entertainers at the time could not go into the front door and have a meal. Muhammad Ali, if he was still Cassius Clay and was not as talented as he was, would just be another black dude experiencing Jim Crow. Like, during his time, this is at the height of the civil rights movement, right? We're coming off the murder of Martin Luther King. We're coming off all kinds of stuff. And Muhammad Ali was very clear. If anyone wanted to Google or go and do the research, I'm not going to kill no dude over in Vietnam. Them people didn't do nothing to me. Y'all the ones that's doing shit to me. This man lost everything because first of all, he was very vocal and loud for a black man to be going on these white platforms back in those days, in 40, 50 years ago, telling these white folks that they ain't shit. Not to mention, one of his good friends, which he eventually regretted toward the end, was Malcolm X. I know everybody knows what the United States government felt about Malcolm X, because they damn sure showed us how they felt about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And so now I'm sitting here listening to these white dudes talk about, oh, well, that's his conviction. I still understand. I was mad about it for a long time. I'm sorry, Mark. Did you go to the military? I'm sorry, do you have military experience? Oh, you don't. Okay. I understand you're living vicariously through WWE and the troops. But how dare you? How dare these two sit up here with their thinking errors? I'm fine with his convictions, but it's a thinking error. I'm completely floored. I'm completely floored by what I just heard.
That was the right thing versus what I think is the right thing doesn't mean that I'm right and he's wrong.
Right.
Now, as someone who did serve my country, I think it's silly for people to get upset at you for inducting Muhammad Ali into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Right.
I can separate a lot of things with people. I can separate what he did when it comes to not wanting to go into the army and go to Vietnam.
Right.
That part I can be upset about. But I cannot be upset about the fact that he may be the greatest athlete that's ever walked the face of the earth.
Absolutely.
And I can't be upset about what his contributions to the WWE were.
Right.
I can't be upset with, tell me a better boxer. It's what he did as an athlete. I can put that here. I can put what he did as a humanitarian here. Mm-hmm. And then there's one thing.
Right. Yeah.
That pissed me off. I'm going to allow that one thing to take away all that other stuff.
Take away the other
and then take that one thing and be pissed at you for inducting him.
Well,
here's the thing. This is the conversation I always have, and I'm going to continue to have this conversation. I think I did a couple podcasts on it. Can you separate the art from the artist? The whole Muhammad Ali and Vietnam and him not wanting to go and his reasons are 100% fucking valid. The whole thing is that is basically him. You can't separate Muhammad Ali's life experience in the United States because you just want to enjoy boxing or you just want to watch him in the ring in the WWE capacity. You cannot separate the art from the artist. When we think about something like R. Kelly, listen, R. Kelly put the tunes out, put on an R. Kelly song, motherfuckers leave all inhibitions and thoughts on the floor. Listening to that R. Kelly music now, from what I know now, I can't do it. This man and his words, he is writing from a place of predatory behavior. When we talk about Vince McMahon, it's every time Vince McMahon's brought up, motherfuckers find ways to excuse his disgusting behavior, which he put on display on TV for years. And now we see all of that was true. That was really Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon on TV as a heel in WWE was really playing Vince McMahon. So how do you separate the two? Mark Calloway, when he was the Undertaker, I think he was really playing the American Badass. That one where he was the put the fist up on the bike and all that bullshit, that was really him. He really thinks that he's some type of biker from the 1990s. I don't understand how these people could be so, how anyone can say they can separate certain aspects of a person that they enjoy, but I don't want to think about the stuff that they did to me. If you don't like Muhammad Ali because he didn't go to Vietnam, then that's just it. You don't like Muhammad Ali. You can sit here and say, yeah, he's a great boxer and everything. You know, he transcended, history, and he's a cultural icon, and, he fought for civil rights for his people and all that. And in the midst of all that, lost every fucking thing because the government was on his ass. That's all good. But he should have went to Vietnam. If you that deep in your convictions, then don't like the motherfucker. This is why I'm confused why they even chose this man, the Undertaker, to induct him. Let's continue.
I think too. It was like I thought Undertaker was a patriot. I thought, man, kiss my ass. All right,
Exactly.
Kiss my patriot ass. That's
Yeah.
And it just rubbed me a little bit.
As a veteran, the people that love to complain and whine more than anything, and I'll get some hate over this, is veterans. We love nothing more than to be pissed off at somebody else.
Let's be specific, white veterans, because a lot of times I think a lot of Americans, because if you're listening to this and you're from another country or something, let me be the first to tell you, the United States is extremely segregated. And it's not, they enforced it for years, but people tend to live with people that look like them. White people tend to live in their own segregated bubbles. And I think a lot of white people don't think that black people were in the military. When we think about patriotism and the way it is displayed in the United States, you see country music, white people, and like cowboy hats, boots, spurs. It's extremely sanitized and vanilla. So where if you see a black cowboy riding a horse with an American flag behind him, you'll be taken aback and confused. Black people have fought in every single war that has taken place on United States soil since before the United States was the United States. And every war and everything that we black people had to go through, it is documented. And for someone to sit here and say they're so fucking confused about why he didn't go to Vietnam, and well, it's his conviction, and you're not really up on what was going on at the time and why his conviction was that serious and why it was so important for black people to see it, I got a problem with you.
And there's a lot of reasons too, because there are a lot of reasons. I get some of it, but yeah, it was just like
There's no reason to give you hate over
inducting Muhammad Ali. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, and
his wife, and what a sweet lady, man.
She seemed like it. I've never met her, but just what I saw on camera,
goodness, she was so sweet, man, and just I sat back. I just. Because not a lot of people know this. So during rehearsals and we're waiting, and as you fall behind. So I just we're sitting down and we start talking, and there's as an athlete, Muhammad, my entertainer, is Elvis.
Yeah.
So I had to ask her. I had to ask her about Ali and Elvis's relationship. They were really good friends. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
They were good friends, and I was like, how close were they? And she was just like, oh my goodness, Elvis made he made that robe for him and all of all that. And so I was just like, I was fanboying out a little bit because those are my two guys,
Yeah.
right? And then to know that they were friends. But she was such a sweet lady, and I think it was a shame because once it got to the Hall of Fame, like I knew, like, okay, this crowd's getting a little bit, and they're it's getting a little.
And he was second, right?
The funny thing is, he asked about Elvis. What do we know about Elvis, the king of rock and roll? Well, we know Elvis stole all of his swagger, and everything that you know of Elvis comes from his roots growing up in Memphis, Tennessee, around black people. He stole everything from black people. We got that part, right? Now, Elvis indeed got called up to go to war. And the funny thing is, Mr. You gotta put your dues in, Elvis didn't do shit in the military. If you look up Elvis's military career, he drove a Jeep. At some points he, did clean the latrines and did stuff with the soldiers to feel like a soldier. But at the end of the day, he was a megastar. The United States wanted Elvis to be a performer in the military. They wanted him to kind of do the USO thing while still getting his military stripes. His manager was like, no. Elvis went to his manager and was like, can you find a way to get me about this shit? I don't want to go to the military. I don't want to be drafted. But y'all don't know that because history paints Elvis as if he's some spectacular figure. Elvis didn't do shit in the military. He went, it was like, whatever, he fulfilled his draft obligations, came back, was an American hero because he went to the military. Why Mark Calloway is so, I like Elvis, he went to the military, Elvis is so much fun. It is so fucking predictable that he would ask that woman that Muhammad Ali's my favorite and Elvis is my favorite. I bet in his house Elvis probably had a picture on his wall because he in his military uniform because he went to the military, he did what he was supposed to do, and that damn Muhammad Ali, and he keeps talking about white people and oh my god, Muhammad Ali. I already know what it is. I think it's a nasty work that Muhammad Ali got inducted the way he got inducted, and then the whole Rock and the belt and his wife. Like, I think it was a nasty piece of work, but he is inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame. That's great. I would have liked Layla Ali maybe could have inducted it, but they got his wife to do it. Maybe for whatever reason, we could all speculate, but just knowing that people are still harboring hate for this black man after all he has done and gone through and went through in these United States, and to this day we still having conversations about the same social standards and norms and failures that he had to deal with. We're still dealing with it today, and for these two guys to sit here and talk about some fucking military. You talk about some fucking military and what he should have been doing, and neither one of you were fucking old enough to even understand what was going on. Neither one of you took the time to do any research to see what his conviction was. I'm younger than both of them, and I know what his conviction was, but you know why I know? It's because I'm black in America, so I'm supposed to know. I got to know everything I need to know about this country in order to survive. They don't have to know it. They don't have to know it. Tell me what you think in the comments if you made it that far.